Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to this edition of The Back Room. We are so pleased that you are all here joining us tonight for another edition of with four marvelous authors, and I cannot wait to introduce them to you. I am your host, Hank Philippi Ryan, the USA Today bestselling author of 13 going on 14 thrillers. Yes, I did. I sent my book in last week.
Yeah.
So this is going to happen. There were days when I thought it might not, but okay, we're getting there. And let me introduce them to you right now. I will give you their formal introductions. Yasmin Angoe, wave Yasmin, hi, how are you? Is the first generation Ghanaian American, no, is the first generation Ghanaian American and debut author of Her Name is Night. It is a spectacular novel that is getting a tremendous amount of attention and buzz, and we cannot wait for you to hear about that tonight. In 2020, she received the Sisters in Crime Eleanor Taylor Bland Award for Emerging Writers of Color and is a member of Sisters in Crime, Crime Writers of Color, Southeast Mystery Writers of America, and the International Thriller Writers. Yasmin was a middle and high school English teacher and currently works as a developmental editor and sensitivity reader. Welcome, Yas. Lisa Barr is the award-winning author of the new Woman on Fire, a thrilling novel about a painting stolen by the Nazis, as well as The Unbreakables and Fugitive Colors. Lisa is also the editor and creator of the popular parenting blog Guerrilla Warfare and has been featured on Good Morning America and Today for her work as an author, journalist, and blogger. She lives in the Chicago area with her husband and 3 daughters. Welcome, Lisa, and where are you?
I am in Chicago. So great to be here, Hank.
We're so
Thanks
glad
for
to have
having
you
me.
tonight.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. Robert Dugoni is the critically acclaimed and internationally best-selling author of 21 novels, the Tracy Crosswhite series, the David Sloan series, and the Charles Jenkins series, as well as the best-selling The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell, The World Played Chess, The Seventh Canon, and the nonfiction expose, The Cyanide Canary. He is the winner of numerous awards, and you ask him about the awards, because if we listed them all, we'd just be here all night, all night. So congratulations, and so nice to see you tonight, Bob. And Heather Gudenkauf is the New York Times and USA Today bestselling author of 8 novels. She's also an Edgar-nominated author. Her debut novel, The Weight of Silence, was an instant New York Times bestseller and remained on the list for 22 weeks, which sounds like fun. Yeah, applause, applause. Gudenkauf's critically acclaimed novels have been published in more than 20 countries and have been included in many best of lists. And her upcoming novel is called The Overnight Guest. Hold that up, Heather, hold up that book. The Overnight Guest is on, every most anticipated list for 2022. And that comes out on January 25th. So you are hearing about this up close and Zoom personal from Heather before the book even comes out. And Lisa's comes out March the 1st, is that
Yes,
right?
March 1st. Yep, here it is.
Congratulations. So you heard it here first. So we will start, as always, with our 20 questions. And let me ask you the questions in the order that I see you on the screen. So that means, Heather, you are first. Are you ready?
I am ready.
My first question to Heather is, do you have a dog?
Oh, I love that question. Yes, I do have a dog. So my sidekick is Lolo, and I'm going to try and get her over here, but she is snuggled into her little bed. So Lolo is a German short-haired pointer, and she is 9 years old, and she goes with me everywhere. So if you know me, you know Lolo. So yeah, I wish I could get her on camera here, but she's having none of it.
How long have you had Lolo?
Since she was a puppy, we got her she was about 5 months old. She was, German short-haired pointers are hunting dogs, and my husband hunts pheasants, and we got her from a man who raises hunting dogs, and she happened to be returned because she was afraid of gunshots, and so we thought, she's the dog for us. We will take the best care of her, and we have. So she's definitely part of the family.
Well, everyone, you all should find Heather on Instagram and Facebook because you will see pictures of Lolo in all circumstances, and she is quite an adorable dog. She has her own fan base, I think, actually.
Much more
Thank you for
popular
that.
than I am.
We'll get her on screen. We'll get her on.
Work on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yasmin, we'll ask you the next question. And these are just random questions that were pulled from our backroom pile. Your question is, might there possibly be a movie made from your book?
There might. Maybe not necessarily a movie, maybe a TV show, but there might, hopefully.
I think I read this wrong. I think it's supposed to say, might there possibly be a television show made from your novel?
There might.
Tell us a little bit about that. I think I read about it in Variety.
Yeah, so it has been optioned with Endeavor Content and Ink Factory to be a TV series. And so hopefully, you know how options go. So hopefully it gets picked up and they move forth with it. I hope so.
You know, this is your first novel. We all have to tell you, this isn't what happens every time.
No.
So
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
I mean, I really don't know. Like, I'm still kind of, when people ask me, I have to remind myself that actually they're talking to me because it doesn't feel real. So like, that's why if someone asks me, like when you ask me, I might have a stunned expression on my face because I'm like, is it me we're talking about? So it feels very like surreal. And I think when it actually happens, then it'll maybe be like a real thing for me and I'll be able to like sit back and be like, wow, I kind of did that, I don't know.
Your book is wonderfully cinematic, so I can't wait to see it. We will all come to the opening. Robert Dugoni, what is the first thing that you remember writing?
The thing that probably is the most poignant was I wrote a speech in the 7th grade. And you could pick, it was just on slavery. We were learning about slavery. And I wrote a speech from the position of an abolitionist. And the short of a long story is when I got done, none of my classmates clapped. None of them said a word. And I thought, oh my God, I screwed up another assignment. They're going to call my mother. I'm in trouble again. And my 7th grade teacher, a nun, Sister Kathleen, gave me the parochial school finger, which is this one. Mm-hmm. He took me outside and she walked me into the class next door and said, give your speech. And shortly after that, they announced there was an announcement over the loudspeaker. This is in eighth grade grammar school. And they had an assembly and they said, give your speech. And at that moment, that was the moment I knew, wow, this is what I want to do for a living. I want to tell stories because I told a story of a slave on a slave auction block. And how proud this man was, and he wasn't going to let anything defeat him. And I still remember lines from that speech. So I would say that's probably the moment that was most poignant for me.
And you were in the 7th grade?
I was in 7th grade. Yeah.
And you knew. That's so fascinating. You all in the breakout rooms ask about that. Talk a little bit about that. This is one of the reasons Karen and I love to do these questions, is to give you ideas for things to ask these authors. Lisa Barr.
Yes.
What is the scariest thing you've ever done, or most interesting, if nothing was scary, in search of a story?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. So the scariest thing I've ever done. Well, when it was, 1993, I was heading to Chicago. I lived in Jerusalem. I was a reporter in Jerusalem, and I was covering everything from celebrities to terrorism. And I was heading home, and I stopped to see my best friend in Washington. And I get a call from my editor, and he said, "Can you be at the White House tomorrow morning?" And I said, "Hell yeah." And I ended up covering the Oslo Peace Accord with Bill Clinton, Yitzhak Rabin, and Yasser Arafat. And we were 3 reporters from my newspaper, and I was assigned to cover Yasser Arafat. And I remember that feeling, especially coming from Jerusalem and getting in the elevator And I was, surrounded by people, guards, and going in there to interview with a small pack of reporters. And I remember I felt like my heart was falling out of my chest. And I knew I had to pull it together and, be poised. But I had every mixed emotion. So I remember that was a scary feeling.
Wow, that
in
is
that
life
film.
changing. That is
Yeah.
life changing.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
you know that feeling when you think I could either collapse or I could do this, and you make
Right.
that decision to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a story, and it actually came out well, but I remember inside I was terrified and I had to be very calm and cool. And
Yes, of course.
yeah.
You're a pro. You're a pro. You're a pro. What a lineup we have tonight, you all. Let's keep going with these questions.
Can I just say that I'm so honored to be here with these folks? I have a dog. You guys are just so accomplished, but it is really just an honor to be here with this group. So thank you for including me, Hank.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
I was thinking about that while Lisa was talking. I thought, ooh, I asked Heather about her dog.
That's about it, though. That's good.
that is
I'm very proud of my dog. I love her. So.
And also proud of-
I love
my
your
dogs
dog.
too, Heather.
Okay, good.
I got them too, so I love
My dogs too, Heather.
I wish I had a dog. So.
Yeah, exactly. And also that 22 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, that
Yeah.
kind
That's
of has a
huge.
ring to it. Kind of
Yeah.
has a ring to it.
Yeah, I'll trade you.
Yeah. Don't tell
Yeah.
your dog. Don't tell your dog.
My wife would kill me. But
And the dog would be happy. So, all right, moving. Am I going to have to stop this car? Okay, let me just move along here. So, those were great questions and great answers. I love this, and it gives you all things to talk to these authors about in about 2 minutes. But first, we want to hear what these authors are reading. We're about to hear all about their books, but we also asked, Karen and I asked them to bring a book that they want you to read, that they particularly love. So we'll start with Heather. What's the book that you're recommending? And tell us why.
Yeah, I'm so excited to share this book. This is Beautiful Little Fools by Jillian Cantor. And Jillian is one of my go-to authors. I read everything she writes. And this is the reimagining of The Great Gatsby as told through the three women main characters.
Yaz, what book are you recommending?
Okay, so I am recommending Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. It was really compelling, and I just love Kelly's voice. Anytime she writes, she's such a voicey writer, and it really makes you really know the character and be so invested in the character. And the characters are just so funny; they just come alive. And so anything that she writes, I just devour it.
Bob, what book are you recommending?
So I'm recommending a book by Don Pugnetti. I hope I said that right because he's a paisan like me. It's called A Coat Dyed Black. Don has a lot of writing experience in journalism and PR, but this is I believe it is a debut novel. It's very poignant, and I really enjoyed it very much. It comes out February 1st of this year, so pre-order it, get it. You won't be disappointed.
Lisa, what book are you recommending?
This is called Bathhouse by PJ Vernon. It's really a cautionary tale. It's about a young man who, a gay young man who was an addict, and his life was a mess. And he finally got it all together, met the love of his life, living well, everything. And then temptation comes, and it's that one bad decision. And he tries to cover it up. And there's lies and lies that beget lies. And it just becomes very gripping. And I just tore through it. And I thought the writing was just stunning. So that's the book. Check it out, Bathhouse.
Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed that taste of what a backroom session is like. But more fun comes immediately afterward. That's when the audience is broken up into 4 breakout rooms, and each author in turn visits each room. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like, because those relaxed face-to-face conversations between best-selling authors and readers are the hallmark of backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded, because what's said in the back room stays in the back room.